Hi, and welcome to our Silk Scrunchie tutorial. Thank you so much for buying your handmade kit from Double Take in collaboration with the Young Street Mission. Here at the Double Take thrift store, we like to be as environmentally responsible as possible. And one of the ways we do that is through upcycling. So we've started to create these handmade kits made from upcycled supplies, whether they were previously damaged garments or it's just an item that we get a lot donated, but we don't sell them as much. And these ties are one of them. So in your kit, you will get all the pre-cut upcycled supplies you need. You do not have to bust out the fabric scissors for this project, which is great. You'll get 3 different ties. They're sold by the color, in this case, blue. So you'll get some fun different prints and patterns. Like here we have 2 different stripes, and the orange in this stripe matches perfectly with the little bit of orange in this floral print right here. Additionally, you will get some elastic. You get 3 pieces of pre-cut elastic. Your elastic thickness may differ depending on what we have in stock, but it'll always be cut to around 8 inches. Finally, you'll receive these really cool composition tags. These were taken off of your ties when the tie was deconstructed, and they're a nice little hint to the upcycling you can add. Feel free to put this in the seam of your scrunchie and it will show off where the tie was originally made and that it's 100% silk. A little fun little detail that you can add. And that's everything that comes in your kit. Some other things you may need. I am working on a sewing machine, which is 100% optional. You are able to sew these scrunchies by hand if you prefer. So a needle and matching thread is what you'll need. I also like to keep some fabric snips on hand to trim any leftover threads so the final product is nice and clean. Additionally, I like to have 2 safety pins for feeding the elastic through the scrunchie. Some people will do this with just 1 pin. I prefer 2, so if you have 2, that's wonderful. These are the fun scrunchies that you'll be able to make with our kit. As you learn these skills, you can then explore a little bit more options. This one is kind of patched together with scrap fabrics that are too small to make one scrunchie by itself, but it's quite cute and fun. So as you level up your skills, you'll be able to do fun things like that as well. To begin, I'm gonna start with one of each of the items that are included in your kit. So the silk tie, the elastic, and the composition tag. These 2 we'll put away to the side for now. What you wanna do is you wanna unfold your fabric piece, and then you're gonna wanna put right sides together. So in my case, my right side is this, but some ties have a fun wrong side as well. So if you would like to use that, it's all up to you. So you get to decide which pattern shows. We're gonna start by sewing this short edge closed. Today I'm gonna sew at 3/8 of an inch, but feel free to sew at 1/2 of an inch if you're not that confident, or even 1/4. The bias should not fray too much, so you'll be able to sew at that 1/4 inch quite comfortably. So we're gonna start with just stitching down and make sure to back tack at the beginning and end to secure the edges. Okay, so now that you've sewn that edge closed, you have a bit of a tube like this. And what you're gonna wanna do is lay it flat, and the top layer, you're gonna wanna fold it inwards. This doesn't have to be perfect, we're just trying to get all of this out of the way. Then you have a raw edge here and a raw edge here. And we wanna flip them so it's together. So right now you're kind of making a weird little hot dog. I'll do that again so you can see it a little bit better. So your seam is here and your fabric is nice and flat. The top layer that you can see, the wrong side is up. You want to put inwards and inwards. Now you're looking at the bottom layer, which is right side up. You have a raw edge here and a raw edge here. We want those ones to meet. So you're gonna flip it like a hot dog. And then we're gonna start sewing this. So So this can be a little finicky, so feel free to use pins if you need to, just to hold everything in place. You have your hot dog looking shape, and you're now gonna want to sew the long side down. What's really important during this is that you're only sewing through 2 layers. So if you look here, I have my 2 layers, my raw edges, but inside I have all that folded stuff in here. We want to keep this folded stuff folded inside, and then you're only stitching through 2 layers. So you secure that edge, and then you just want to stitch all the way down. Feel free to take it really nice and slow. It's easier to be patient than to have to unstitch everything after. Once you reach to this point, that folded piece in the middle, you're gonna wanna pull on it, and it's gonna unravel and bring out more fabric you can sew. So then again, you have your folded piece that's tucked inside. You're gonna wanna keep on doing that, pulling and adjusting until you reach almost to where you began. So now here I've reached where I started stitching. We want to leave a little bit of a gap so we can turn it right sides over. I think about 1.5 to 2 inches is more than enough. Make sure to back tack when you stop so it doesn't unravel on you. Now through this hole, we're gonna wanna kind of fold it over and push all the good fabric out. Once you push enough out, you'll get this like little loop, and then you can pull on it. Slow but steady wins the game here. Just focus on pulling it all out. Now you end up with this tube, and it's time to put the elastic in. I like to secure a safety pin on each side of the elastic. Some people will only do 1, but I prefer 2, and I'll show you a neat little trick that's going to save you a lot of frustration with feeding through your elastic in a second. So leave one side open. You're going to grab your unscrunched scrunchie, and you're going to find the hole in your seam. Here. And you're gonna pin this to the opening, the seam allowance there. That way, one end of your elastic is not going anywhere and is not gonna get lost. The other side of your elastic, you're gonna take that safety pin, you're gonna put it inside, and you're gonna feed it through the entire length of your scrunchie. Go nice and slow here. Try not to twist the elastic too much. And don't pull too hard, or else the safety pin will come out and you'll have to start again. Once you get to the other side and you have both sides of the elastic peeking out, now it's time to secure the elastic. So carefully undo the safety pins and grasp the elastic so that it doesn't disappear on you. And we're gonna wanna overlap them by a little bit. Here I probably have less than 1/2 inch overlap, and we're gonna stitch right on there. At this point, I like to set my machine up for a zigzag stitch because it's a little easier and it stretches with the elastic, but if you're hand sewing or just have a straight stitch machine, that's just as well. We're gonna wanna go back and forth quite a few times to make sure it's 100% secure. Now that your scrunchie is looking almost complete, the last step we have is to close that little hole that we made. And this is the perfect opportunity to slip in your composition label. So you just wanna put it in that seam, and so it's sticking out slightly like that. And we're gonna do a very small edge stitch and close this up here. This is a time when matching thread comes in handy. So make sure to do that so it's as nice and clean as possible. Again, as usual, make sure to back stitch at the beginning and end. And you can do as close to the edge as you feel comfortable with. That looks just like that. And it's just important that you're catching both sides. And that's it. Your scrunchie is now complete. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you have any questions, make sure to give them an ask and I will try and help you as best as I can. Our kits also are able to follow any scrunchie method that you have. So if you'd like to follow another tutorial or you already know how to sew a scrunchie and you prefer your method, feel free to give it a go. Thank you.